Okay, and we are live.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending the Thursday, November 16th regular board agenda for the Pottstown School District Board of Directors. I would like to call this meeting to open. Could I have a roll call, please? A roll call, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Armato,
Here.
Bearden,
Here.
Heidel,
Here.
Hilton, Kancianic,
Here.
Johnson,
Here.
Klein,
Here.
Lawrence,
Here.
Spence.
Present.
8 present, 1 absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we have a moment of silence, please? And the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with justice for all.
we will be leaving the room for an executive session. Term, foreseen, it is for the purposes of litigation. Thank you for your patience. Thank you very much for your patience, public. We will now move into the next item on the agenda, which is presentation.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the board. The next presentation is to celebrate someone within our own ranks, and we have a video that I think will be helpful in outlining that. So let's roll video.
Layla Bearden, Pottstown High School, class of 2024. The National African American Recognition Award from College Board, based on my high accolades based off of my PSATs as well as my high GPA. YWCA Young Women's Persimmon Award. The YWCA award, I was really nominated for it based off of the extracurriculars that I'm in, as well as my high academics, and honestly, just if someone were to nominate me, they just wrote my name down and they thought that I was good for the award. I've been involved in NHS as well as currently DECA. I'm the DECA president of this year's chapter. I've also been involved in the musical behind the scenes. I was the social media maven for that. I've also been involved in Pottstown Girls Varsity Soccer, Pottstown Girls Varsity Tennis, and the track and field, both winter and spring team. A few keys to my success have been my mother and father. They've been there to support me throughout everything. The DECA chapter, they've really been there from freshman year to my senior year now, as well as the teachers and staff. My favorite teacher in the Pottstown Middle School is Mr. Lawrence, because he has been there for me throughout those years, and he's really taught me some things that most other teachers I feel would not be able to bring to light. My favorite teacher at the Pottstown High School is Mr. Davenport, because he's always been there to support me and has never once told me that I wasn't able to do something, and really encouraged me since he came to the school district. A piece of advice I would give to upcoming students would be to prioritize your schoolwork and academics before anything. Make sure you become more involved in the school district, whether that be through sports or any other chapter or club, and to really make sure you have fun. Enjoy your high school years. I am a full-time dual enrollment student at Montco Community College in Pottstown, PA. So far, through the college experience that Montco has given me, I've learned that I am able to create my own schedule. I do take online classes, and with that being said, I'm not going to say that it's easy, but it definitely works best for me compared to being in the physical classroom in itself. Just being able to exchange conversations even through technology, I feel that I'm still in the classroom, but I'm just able to create my own schedule. I was inspired to become a nurse because I love to help people. Even when I was younger, I would always stop and ask an elderly or any other individual if they were all right, if I saw that they were slowing down, or if they had just fallen and now they're struggling to get up. Being able to give someone the help that they need, I just love that I'm the one that's able to provide that. A positive teen moment that I had within the Pottstown High School would be when I was in track and field, and this was during the springtime, and we all had different events that we had to get to on time. And after you finish your event, they would call up on the overhead announcements and let us know who the 3 top winners were for that event. And at one moment, my name was called, and I had received 2nd place. And my team just screamed. All you heard was my name, and honestly, I felt the love in that moment. Like, I felt that accomplishment. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and while this is only a portion of my story, I hope you enjoyed, and just remember, think big and work hard. Once a Trojan, always a Trojan. Proud to be from Pottstown.
recognition of your dedication, your hard work, and this high achievement, I am pleased to bestow upon you the Superintendent Award and offer you the hearty congratulations on behalf of the entire Pottstown School District, student body, and staff. Congratulations. Where's mom? So go on over, mom.
Board president. Sue, when she didn't have this young guy.
Depends if it's good. Thank you.
Oh, gosh, I forgot something. Almost forgot something. On days where we celebrate, we do our best to take the celebration, not just from here, but also send a little something home. So we have some gluten-free, specially made donuts for you and your family. And, my secretary would kill me if I forgot. So here-
She's a smart girl.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to present the minutes from the regular board meeting, October 19th, 2023.
Thank you. List of bills and treasurer's reports. Yes, Johnson.
Yes, Madam President, I would like to submit the list of bills paid from the various funds for the period of October twenty twenty-three as presented, and the treasurer's report for the period of October twenty twenty-three as presented.
Thank you very much. Moving on to committee reports, policy and personnel, Mr. Klein.
Thank you, Madam President. At our November 2nd meeting, we met for policy and personnel and went over 3 different policies. Non-discrimination, discriminatory harassment, non-discrimination based on sex, and a cyber bullying policy. We reviewed them and we're moving forward with recommending to the board that we add compliance recommendation and a complaint process and some various links to it online. So that'll be on the agenda for tonight. There were no personnel issues at that meeting. And prior to that meeting, one of our very own board members, Mrs. Spence, submitted a proposal on the recruitment and retention of Black educators at Pottstown School District. And there were 10 various steps or points to that with some sub-points in each one. We covered the first 7, just going through and seeing what we're currently doing. And we're going to finish up the last 3, hopefully at our next meeting, and then move on to what we can do to change the ones that we're not doing anything with, or tweak the ones we are doing something with. That was our committee.
Thank you very much. Can we have Mrs. Lawrence with curriculum and co-curricular?
Sure, and thank you, Ms. Bearden, for chairing my committee. I had to work that night, so I will kind of read through some of this. It looks like we had several informational items. The gifted screener that we had talked about a couple meetings ago, I guess is on hold because we're looking for new psychologists. So that's kind of delaying that. We had an update from Dr. White Springfield on the College of Career Readiness Program, which is that program that kind of talks about career readiness with the different grades. Some of the work is done in grade 5, grade 8, and then by 11, the portfolio together with their career ideas. We also had an update on the Gear Up program, which has been going on for several years now with the middle school, high school, and the counselors that are involved with that program that's been following that class. And then Mr. Oxenford did a review of the placement with the benchmark assessments and professional development with that. So he talked about how that will be continuing throughout the year, several different trainings on that. And our next meeting is December 7th.
Thank you very much. Moving on to facilities and finance, Mr. Hilton.
Thank you. So we learned that all three pumps at the middle school began leaking at the same time. Not a crisis because the temperature was all right. The maintenance crew fixed two of them almost immediately, and by the end of the day, all three were fixed. Pico is working on outside lines around the area of our schools. And so they have to be shut down from time to time. The next school to be shut down is Edgewood. We'll be shutting that down during the holiday break. The high school sewer line had another clog in it. And it was necessary to cut out a section of pipe to remove the clog and retrofit and repair the pipe. Rupert, a circulation pump failed, and that was replaced with a new pump. The administration building had a heating hot water leak, and that was able to be contained. And the facilities plan that ONS works on every year for the following summer to do envelope work on the buildings. They are not quite done with that, but we expect to have that soon. And then I spoke with Mrs. Janko and our substitute facilities director today to talk about an RFP for planting trees next year. And for finance, Mrs. Oakley has a resolution for us tonight saying we're not going to exceed a tax increase next year of 7.9%, which is not going to happen for sure. And then we have a resolution to appoint a substitute tax collector, and that will be Mrs. Oakley will be appointed. And she brought up two contracts we'll be signing, one for Pennsylvania School for the Deaf and one for MCI youth psychologist. And a business office update. We're working on our cost settlement medical access program so we can bill back the state for medical access claims. Also writing a 21st century grant and a BCSA grant. Don't ask me what that is. With grants looking to complete a lot of upgrades throughout the district. And we are completing our second round of ESSA monitoring, which was discussed with me today, but I won't tell anybody. And the audit and the AFR are due at the end of the year, and that is getting finalized. And we're also looking at a project for scanning records that are sitting around in the basement, so that we don't have any more of that paper sitting around, and also hoping to digitize current records as we receive them. And over the holidays, we'll be upgrading the phone system.
Thank you very much. We have public relations, community engagement, and Montgomery County Legislative, Mrs. Johnson, please.
Okay, so for our guest presentations last Thursday, Mr. Evan Horn finished up his presentation about the Gear Up grant and the work that they're doing. Currently, Gear Up has 10 staff members, including 2 career counselors, which are at the middle and high school. They're providing students with one-on-one tutoring, all the staff, not just the counselors, guidance counseling and post-secondary workshops. And they continue to help students kind of find their strengths and strengthen the areas where they need. They have also been doing trips, including to the community college, and they hosted a military day for high school students, and a CTU program tour, which I can't remember what that stands for. I'm not remembering the acronyms today, I guess, for the 8th grade students is scheduled for late November. I took a little bit of time to walk the committee as well as the public through some of the spaces that you can find Pottstown School District and administration on social media and online. We covered Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as a part of the school district website. And talked a little bit just about the value of following along there so that we're connected as a community. Ms. Spearden announced the 4th annual father-daughter dance to be held November 17th, which is tomorrow, at the middle school for kindergarten through 6th grade students, with their father figures. This is nonprofit and fully independently funded event. And the idea is to get students and their families into the middle school, especially before they're even students there, so that they can be in the building in a pleasant and low pressure type environment. The evening provides food, dancing, and an on-site photographer, goodie bags, and I'm sure everybody's gonna have a lot of fun. I know that my husband and daughter will be there. And then I shared a brief advocacy update related to the Basic Ed Funding Commission, and encouraged everyone to go leave a comment about why Pottstown students and students across the Commonwealth deserve full and fair funding. And our next meeting is December, I have 13th on the report, but I'm pretty sure I wrote that down. It's the 14th. Oh, and then county legislative committee, right? So we actually have not had a meeting since the last time I gave a report. We are kind of doing an every other month meeting set up right now with some potential information going out in between those meetings. I'm the chair of that committee, so what I'm doing right now is actually working through one-to-one phone calls with the different committee members to find out what's going on in their district, legislatively speaking, and like what the hot button issues are for them. That's the only news there.
Great, thank you very much. PSBA representative, I know Mrs. Cantiatic would like to tell us how we need to take our classes.
Yes. So I forgot that today was the third Thursday. I figured that out yesterday. So I don't have a report, but I do know they do have our required classes online and in person, and you can go on and do that thing.
Thank you very much. MCIU representative, Mrs. Lawrence, please.
Yeah, we did not meet in October, but our November meeting was last night. So a couple of points for that. They did a couple presentations. One was on the idea, I think it was North Penn is doing it, something with starting up these startup clinics to medical clinics for school staff, like teachers and whatever. And they're saying that they're just starting to look into it, and they were just trying to gauge interest because the school districts would have to have a buy-in to that if it's going to happen. But the thought was it helps with shortages too, because teachers don't have to take a full day to get a medical checkup or a vaccination or something like that. So that was one presentation. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that. They also were talking of several different grants and things relating to mental health, that the state budget is giving schools a little bit more, I guess. Also, there was a grant that they have for safety trainings for paraprofessionals, not just the teachers. And also, one I'm gonna have to find out a little bit more about was suicide. They said it really quickly. They didn't give a lot of details, but suicide grant to give more training for the students with that, which I think is a really good idea. The other thing is we talked about something in an executive session, so we're not allowed to share the details, but I guess the superintendent and the HR director are going to be getting a paperwork form. They were talking about their process for what they have for succession for some of the big appointments like superintendent or the directors, if they would suddenly leave or something would happen, about who would be the next people in line. And so the representatives there thought it would be helpful to have that sent to the districts. So that will be coming, I guess, to you guys. Right? Because it was a really interesting idea about writing down like who you would think would do your job best if something happened. So. No, well, I won't, okay.
It's always good to have a third party
Exactly.
tell you what's best for you.
Well, that's what we're trying to avoid, okay? I guess.
2 steps from being superintendent.
Well, that conversation district, and so I think we're pretty well documented for our next steps, but you never know, right? Well, always will they said they'll send student board reps, Elizabeth and
Thank you, President. Good evening. So the high school football team has made the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. They had a nice bonfire around, I think it was 6:30 p.m. not that long ago. It was ran by our student government. Dylan Mays, our quarterback, was named Best Sportsmanship of the Year for Montgomery County. Our running back, Nazir Booker, got over 1,000 rushing yards this season. That is an accomplishment that hasn't happened in over 13 seasons. The best part of the whole season was the amount of community members that came out to support our team. The marching band ended their season on the 8th. They got 8th place out of 17 bands. They also got 3rd place out of 17 for the category field music. NHS inductions were last Tuesday, November 7th. Cheer tryouts were also last Thursday on the 9th. There were practices to prepare for tryouts from the 7th and the 8th. Winter school sports officially start tomorrow. We also have a new bowling team and a new girls wrestling team with a bunch of girls already signed up. The high school has more opportunities to get involved. Now moving on to Barth Elementary. Barth had their trunk or treat, their field day, and their fall fest. They also had a quality club in October and had a camp out. And also had a carnival. The Greater Pottstown Tennis keeps helping the 3rd and 4th grade in work in tennis. For Franklin Elementary, they had their trunk or treat on October 24th and their book fair during the Halloween week. They had books and breakfast on October 25th. They had spirit days, including Pink Out and PJ Day, also Veterans Day. They had pennies for puppies that ran for the entire month of October. Franklin students and families donated almost $1,500 to dog rescue. They also had a Thanks for Giving potluck on the 13th. Family and staff bring things in for Thanksgiving that are individual to them. Food, they also share their food for clusters.
Yes, and I'll be speaking for Rupert Elementary. The 3rd grade class went to the Maple Street Park to play tennis with the Pottstown Tennis Association last month. Red Ribbon Week was October 23rd to the 27th. On the 24th, the 4th graders went on a trip to the Low Rope course. On the 30th, 3rd graders had a someone special lunch. The 2nd graders had their someone special lunch on the 6th, and the 31st was the fall fest. On the 15th of November, the 1st graders had a fall family activity, and on the same day, there was a Peter Pan play assembly. Now for Lincoln Elementary, they had events such as the Grandparents' Day, Book Fair, Trunk or Treat, and then the Fall Fest. The 2nd graders also celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month, and all the 3rd graders listened to the Too Good for Drugs lesson provided by Creative Health. Also, students made the reading challenge of over 575 books in the first marking period, and the reward was Silly String, the principal. I actually got that from Instagram. Now for all the districts, the Interact Club from the high school hosted a coat drive that was held in all the schools. We have received more than enough coats to donate to the Salvation Army for the winter. This drive I'm so sorry. This drive shows how our community can come together to support a good cause. The father-daughter dance, like Ms. Johnson said, is tomorrow, the 17th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the middle school. Girls from kindergarten to 6th grade, along with their male figure, are invited to come. Organizations from the high school will also be there to support the night in one way or another. And that concludes our report for the night. Thank you.
Thank you so much to both our student board. Elizabeth, I know you have to leave, so I will allow you to go ahead and dismiss early. Thank you very much for your report. Have a good night. Be careful. Moving on to the report of Superintendent, Mr. Rodriguez.
Yes, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen of the board, before we move into a few items of the agenda, I did also want to report out about some things going on in the district that aren't on the agenda. Only about 2 hours ago, I was at the Pottstown Public Regional Library, where I was able to take part in their festivities because they won the highest award a library can get in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that is the Gold Star designation. It was also a time where they announced the program that I've been talking about since September, and that is that any student who desires from Potts Grove as well as Pottstown, who has an ID can take out 5 books for free at any given time, without worrying about getting a library card, without worrying about fines. So it's a special program, grant funded, so that more students can have access, especially when they don't have access to school libraries. So very happy about that. Also, Power School is in full swing, and we had our first report card just come out. It was not without its bumps and bruises. We were not able to get them out on time, and there were some differences. We are working through them. However, the Power School clearly is a superior product, but we're going to need time to learn some of it. So I'd just like to say thank you to all the parents and staff and students who have, hung in there while we transition. I have to remind myself as well as others, the reason we only do this once every 10 years is because it's a real pain in the butt. So to that end, talking to parents and making sure that they have items like Power School parent conferences are Monday and Tuesday of next week. We have a staff designated in-service day tomorrow, so the kids have a little bit of free time before Thanksgiving break. But on Monday and Tuesday, we are inviting parents from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade to come and meet with their teachers, and we sent out information for that. Second to last item, text messages. We have had a successful number of text message tests. In fact, the last one reached 2,086 numbers. I can't tell you exactly how many families that is because some families have more than one child, but that's a lot of text messages that have successfully been delivered. But we know, or rather we suspect that not all of them have. So if parents want to join, all they have to do is text yes to 67587. And finally, want to let parents of the Pottstown Middle School know we've got some great programming there, especially after school. We've got 21st century programming. We also have Trojans of Tomorrow, which is a great program that allows students to get a taste of what athletics might be like. They don't have to participate for the whole season, but they can participate for a small time period. And thus far, it's been very, very successful. With that being reported, let's dive right back into the agenda. And as usual, we'll kind of tag team this out, starting with personnel. So Mr. Boyer, can I ask you to take it away?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Good evening, school board members. For 9.1 resignations and terminations, we have 1 administrative, 4 professional, and 1 exempt. 10.1 leaves. We have 1 professional leave and 2 classified leaves. 11.1 change in position and salary. We have two classified items. 12.1 elections. We have 3 professional elections, 1 exempt and 4 classified. 12.2 co-curricular assignments. What you'll see in the file attachment is the updated co-curricular assignment. 13.1 horizontal movements. You'll see in the attachment the updated corrections for, I think it's 1 correction for horizontal movement. 14.1 professional leaves. In the file attachment, you'll see the leaves that are recommended for approval. And 15.1 policy, we have 1 policy that has been updated for your approval as well. And I will turn it over to you, Mrs. Oakley.
Thank you. Board members, tonight for your consideration, we have 2 contracts, both special education, 1 for a placement and 1 for MCIU psych services. We also have the resolution that Mr. Hilton reviewed tonight regarding our 24-25 budget. And that is the resolution that limits our property tax increase to our adjusted Act 1 index, which is 7.9% for next year's budget. So just as a reminder to board members, as part of Act 1, we are limited in the amount that we would be able to raise our taxes in our budget if we chose to raise our taxes. And what we're doing here tonight by signing this resolution is saying that we would not exceed our index of 7.9%. So we would not exceed our 24-25 budget by 7.9%. And that is equivalent to about 3.3 mils in terms of millage. So looking forward to putting that for your consideration tonight. I'm gonna continue to go through the items. Is that
Can we
okay?
get through the items first and then we can recap the discussion?
Sure. And the last item that I have for your consideration is the substitute tax collector appointment. And that is an annual resolution in which we have to name the responsibility for the collection of taxes, and that names myself for the year beginning January 2024. The final item that I have for your consideration tonight is a bid award for special education for professional services. And that is to the Lincoln Center for registered art therapist. And that concludes the items that I have for tonight, Madam President.
Okay. I'm going to move into hearings from the patrons of schools for general consent items. Do we have anyone signed up? If we can come forward.
Not at this time.
Thank you. Okay, and while you're going ahead and doing that, I'll just remind that this is an opportunity for the residents and the taxpayers to go ahead and address the board. Please refrain from addressing individual board members, and please remember that the board will not respond to any questions posed this evening, but the administration will take this information and gather it together and forward a response. Please make sure that you provide us, as always, with your name and address prior to addressing the board. And please try to be as brief as possible. We do limit to 3 minutes or less. So first, do you want to see this? Stephanie, please. Thank you. Inez Bell?
Yes, hi, how are you?
Thank you. Well,
Good. My name is Inez Bell. I'm on Warren Street and here in Pottstown. And as a parent of a 9th grader and a 12th grader, I just wanted to address the board tonight to talk about school, engagement. I'm one of the newest members of FAC, in case no one in this room doesn't know, but I have definitely enjoyed the last year of working with them. And I've seen the progression that we have made. And one of the things that I really wanted to talk about tonight was how we've kind of changed our format a little bit. And instead of meeting every month, for the 10 months that school is engaged, we've decided to go every other month and have an engagement. So next month, we're hoping to do a family game night, right? So we really would like to see if the board and those that can and have ways to get information out could support us on that. We're looking at the date of December the 20th as that date. But as we look to our next engagement, which would be in February, we're hoping that we can do a mother-son dance. And that's because the mothers are saying to me, what's going on? I want to dance too, and I love my son. But we're also looking at why are the pre-Ks being held out from the dance. So if that is a possibility that we can extend it out to even having the pre-K kids involved in that dance, that would be a lovely thing. If it's at the middle school or at the high school, but so that everybody could come with, because I have 2 sons still in school. So I would love to go and cut a rug. I'm learning fall and stuff. Man, I'll figure it out. But anyway, with that being said, I just wanted to have an opportunity to tell you guys that I appreciate what the board is doing, what they have done, and what you are going to do. But just continue to remember that if we all pull our resources, all come together, we can make this even better. And as we continue to say, we're proud to be from Pottstown. And I haven't lived here long, but I feel like I'm a Pottstonian. So thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Ms. Mercedes Jackson, please.
Good evening, everyone. Mercedes Jackson, High Street, Pottstown, PA. So what I first wanted to speak on is I can attest to, Miss Bearden's daughter, with her kind, humble heart. I'm the type of person, I'm a foodie. I'm the skinniest fat person you'll ever meet. So one day and I seen her, she's out there working out on the field and I'm like, I want to stay with snacks. You want some snacks? And instead of her getting the snacks, she's like, hey guys, you want some snacks? That's a prime example of her kind, humble heart. Also too, I wanted to say, piggyback a little bit on what Inez said, is how about, I love the fact that it's daddy, daughter, father, son. What about mommy and me? Right? Because we have so many people that, I wonder if it was Kylie Jenner's daddy. Oh God, we switched up the game. So we gotta keep that in mind, mommy and me. Why does it have to be a father, you know what I mean, like, or a mom? Why can't it just be mommy and me? Because we don't know who that person is playing that role. And last, I wanted to say in regards to parent engagement, right? Come out and volunteer your time. Just like you can go online and you can order weed, AKA marijuana, if people don't know what weed is, go on the pottstownschools.org website calendar, see what's going on in our community and volunteer a little bit of your time. Your time is priceless. Please invest in our children's future. Our children's future isn't only about money. Time is priceless. Money is time. If you even got a new grad, y'all can do it together. I hear some people, my kid's grown. My kid don't go there no more. Don't matter. Your kid graduated from there, right? We don't put up with their, you know. So get together maybe once a year, make it a family tradition. Humanitarian work, it is so fulfilling. Please trust and believe me. Thank you for your time.
Ms. Kismet, please.
Hello. Good evening. I wanted to talk a little bit about family engagement as well.
Street address, please.
West King Street in Pottstown. So I want to kind of piggyback on what Sadie was saying. It's so frustrating to see so many kids in our middle school, in our alternative schools. People don't take time. I understand sometimes you just want to get away from your kid. Go volunteer in another classroom. See what's going on. I promise you. If your kid is coming home and telling you that they're picking on them, come check it out. Your kid ain't gonna be bitten, get picked on. It's something else that's happening that they're not telling you about. It looks like they're being picked on because they only give you the outcome. If we as a community can seriously take the time to just come out and see what's going on in the middle school, don't sit on Facebook and talk about it. Come out and look. Come find out for yourself. Don't go in your kid's classroom. Sit outside the room. Listen to the language they're using. I promise you, if I heard that language at my house, somebody wouldn't be happy. But I just wish that we would just take the time, instead of always bashing our district about what they're not doing, let's take the time to find out what we can do to support them. You're either part of the problem or part of the solution. You can't be both. And now is the time. Tomorrow's not promised to us. And these young people, impressionable people, are going to be our leaders of tomorrow. If you heard and seen the things that I hear and see, bet you would be probably as afraid as I am of what our leaders look like and how they respond. We are not putting our kids in the best light, and it's scary. When I think about the clothing, I don't know where these kids come in with these clothes. It's atrocious. Skin, bellies hanging out. My mom would have beat me down if I came out like that. Maybe you don't know what's happening. I say, start making phone calls. That won't be an answer. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, hey, Miss So-and-so, such and such is in class, and this is what they look like. Want me to take a picture? Because I promise you, if you've seen what they look like, it's not appropriate. We are not getting them ready for success at every level. And that is our motto. We need to really start sticking up to make it success. And I want to see our kids be successful. And I'm sure you all do too.
Thank you so much. Mr. Doug Swift, please.
Good evening, everyone. I was surprised to learn.
Sorry,
believe
can
it was
I have your street address, please?
Oh, it's on the paper, 474 North
We
Avenue.
need to
I have
announce
to
it
state it.
publicly. Thank you so much.
I did something wrong every time. I can't get out of the box cleanly. Okay, so anyhow, I was surprised to hear, I think it was at the last meeting here, that there is no formal music education at middle school. And I saw many of you indicate that you would like to have that. So I know that I'm sort of preaching to the choir. But I wanted to go ahead and make a little presentation so that you have the knowledge and the confidence that the community wants that as well as you. Before the healthcare career that I just retired from, I was a professional musician for 30 years in Philadelphia. So I have some skin in the game. As Mr. Armato is frequently telling us about all the activities we have at school and all the external benefits beyond the actual sport itself, music is much the same. I'm going to quote several studies here that will give you some information. There's a 2018 study that found participation in music education can provide improved social skills in children, including teamwork, cooperation, and communication. There's a 2017 study that found music instruction also boosts engagement of brain networks that are responsible for decision-making and the ability to focus attention and inhibit impulses. Doesn't that sound good? 2015, language skills such as verbal memory, literacy, and verbal intelligence have been shown to strongly benefit from musical training. 2014 study, music training boosts IQ, focus, and persistence. 2013 study, music education can help children develop social skills such as cooperation, empathy, and self-esteem. 2008 study, music education can improve social skills in children, including networking, cooperation, and communication. There is a website that supports music teachers called Music Teacher Notes, and they have a quote there saying music education has a wide range of social benefits that extend beyond just learning to play an instrument. It can help to improve self-esteem, confidence, and teamwork skills, as well as foster creativity, cultural understanding, and empathy. And finally, a quote from Yo-Yo Ma, who says, music enhances the education of our children by helping them to make connections and broadening the depth with which they think and feel. If we are to hope for a society of culturally literate people, music must be a vital part of our children's education. So I would encourage you, when you get to that part of your calendar this year, that you're hiring new instructors, that you consider a music teacher for the middle school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe we have a person signed in virtually. Ms. Mara Charles. You let us
I'll put her on right now.
Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Tamara Charles, 439 Walnut Street, Pottstown. My public comment, I wanted to comment on the value of the community engagement that was directed towards parents. And I'm talking about the work that first created the Family Advisory Committee so many years ago. And I believe that there was a lot of value in that work that was directed towards the parents, because I believe a lot of great leaders came out of that initiative. And we remain leaders. We probably all would have been leaders anyway without that, but I think it did help us stay involved in our community and the school district. And I'm hoping that one day the board and the school district administration can seek out grants or monies to get something like that as an initiative again, because I think so many children could benefit from having their parents involved. Like Layla Bearden, congratulations and good job to her parents. But I just feel like we could have a lot more children with their parents' involvement be successful like she is. And I'm just hoping that one day we could seek out some grants or monies to get that going again, because there's a lot of value in it. And the reason why we keep popping up and we keep it going and we conducted a Let's Talk series on our own is because we believe in it, and we're gonna keep it going until we can bring it back to what it was. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we will move on to board discussion. I believe, Mr. Amato, you were looking for some information or you wanted to speak.
Question for, Mrs. Jampa. If I understand, this is Oakland. I'll get it right.
I'm just defending Zach here. That's sorry, that's all I'm doing.
I appreciate it. I didn't write it in front of me, so needless to say. Mrs. Oakley, if I understand this correctly, us taking action today that says that we will not go above the index also means that we will have opportunity to delay when we actually have to present our budget,
Correct.
which will give you opportunity to get a better handle on what our financial situation will look like next year.
Correct.
In spite of the fact that our governor and our state legislature, even though a budget was passed in June, here we are almost December, and they have not released money to school districts for us to actually know what we're gonna get.
Correct.
Because, you don't have to say correct to the next one if you don't want to. Because they have decided to hold students, staff, and communities as hostages because they believe that the answer to all educational problems in Pennsylvania is to provide taxpayer money to private schools who have no accountability to the public. They think that that is the answer, and they will hold fast on not releasing money until they think they can win that point. You don't have to answer yes. I'll answer yes. For
Correct.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to be, before I cast my vote, I wanted to be clear that I understood that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any communication needed? I'm going to request board action on the list of bills and treasurer's report. Is there any discussion needed? Board? No, thank you. So I will ask for a motion to accept the board action minutes, list of bills and treasurer's report, please, as well as a second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Any further discussion needed for consent items 9 through 19? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to accept. Second. Roll call vote, please, for consent.
Armato,
Aye.
Heidel,
Aye.
Hilton,
Aye.
Kancianic,
Aye.
Klein,
Aye.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Spence,
Yes.
yes, Bearden,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
9 ayes, motion, none absent, motion carried.
Thank you so much. Moving on to non-consent items, please. I believe we have Mr.
Mr.
We
Kalis.
do. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. On the agenda for this evening, under non-consent is a confidential settlement stipulation involving a special ed student, the terms of which were reviewed with the board as part of our executive session held earlier this evening.
Thank you. Do we have any hearings from the patrons signed up to speak for non-consent items only?
Not at this time, Madam President.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will ask for the board action unless there's any discussion. Board action on the consent settlement agreement item. Could I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
And a second? Second. Roll call vote, please.
Lawrence,
Aye.
Spence,
Yes.
Klein,
Aye.
Armato,
Aye.
Bearden,
Aye.
Heidel,
Aye.
Hilton,
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kancianic. Aye. 9 ayes, none absent, motion carried.
I don't show unfinished business. I don't show old business, new business, but we do have information items, please. Mr. Kills.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. As the board is aware, there is a reorganization meeting which we are required under the Pennsylvania School Code annually to perform. That will be scheduled or is scheduled for Thursday, the 7th of December. At that time, all persons that were recently elected to serve on the Board of School Directors for an additional term will be sworn in, take their oath of office. And once that's done, there will also be a board reorganization as it relates to the election of officers to serve for the ensuing year.
Thank you. And that will be in person.
Correct. Yes, Mrs. Beardman.
And just for board knowledge, that is the start of committee meetings for that evening. So we will be sworn in, have our board reorgs, and then move right into committee meetings. Just so you're planning.
Is this at the high school?
It will be here in the.
Okay.
Mrs. Oakley.
Thank you, Madam President. Board members, the monthly meeting notice for December is attached.
Thank you. Federation remarks, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Miller. I am Vice President of our Federation and a teacher at the high school. I just have a couple of short, quick things. First, congratulations to Layla for her award. It's great to see students and all their achievements. You sometimes forget when you see them daily or year to year, all the great things they do. We had at the high school, the Church of the Quarter celebration today, and that's always like a very fun activity. It's part of our PBIS plan, which is some new improvements to high school to just keep awarding students for just excellence. So it's great to see that. And then our first quarter has gone very well. So keeping our fingers crossed that second quarter is continuing to go as well. And that's pretty much all I have. So have a nice holiday, everyone, and enjoy the time with your family and the downtime, and all I got.
Thank you very much. So we will start with round table. Start with Mr. Klein.
Nothing tonight, Madam President.
Thank you. Mrs. Johnson.
I was thinking about if I had anything to say, and I just wanted to reflect for a moment, with it being Thanksgiving and just thinking about the team here, but also how it extends out. I just felt like it was highlighted over and over again tonight, how many different kinds of members of our team that we have. We have parents and students and teachers and staff, and I was like just writing down all like different categories of people, but also just recognizing how beyond the different roles any one person plays, there's different personalities and different perspectives, and how incredibly important it ends up being for us as a community to have that just that well-roundedness, and people who are living into whatever it is the roles that they're in. I mean, most of us hold more than one. And so I just wanted to say how grateful I am for this team, big picture team, and how grateful I am for the district as a whole.
Thank you. Mr. Hilton.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Heidel.
Well, first off, to Layla, do you have any me time? Like, you know, something that you just kind of like get away from it all? But I'm serious, if I could get Maggie to do like 20% of that stuff, I would be like thrilled. I want to congratulate the board members who won re-election. I know it was a brutal. And but the serious note, first I see Evan's on Facebook, and I want to tell Evan and the general public, if he would have asked our board members to fill out a questionnaire, I have no doubt each of you would have filled out questionnaires with long-winded answers and some response. The fact that so few candidates for school boards in this area responded to Evan is really disappointing. I mean, some had one candidate out of like 10 respond to a simple questionnaire. And if I ever, I mean, I try not to be political at all, and I really feel that school boards should be non-political. It disappoints me to see just the vitriol that took place from both sides in all these school board elections. If I ever thought I had to make a stand to get someone to back me, I wouldn't be here. This board doesn't act like that. Maybe it's because we have to deal with too many other major things. I think a lot of people, I mean, I think these board members are gonna come quickly to a realization that they're gonna sit down, they're gonna look at Act One, and they're gonna have to meet Act One. They're gonna have to stay below it, because their budgets are that bad. They're gonna realize just how strong of a grip PDE has on what a board and a district can do. It's, you know, I hate to see the drama of the day play out with our kids. Because that's the first thing. It is our kids, John, you're absolutely right. And it's our taxpayers. Okay, those are the things that board members should worry about first. They should worry about contracts with the federation and unfortunately sometimes hiring a superintendent. Okay, the little pity-patty little things that they're talking about really don't play a big effect in what happens with our kids over years. And I hope boards realize that, and I thank you guys on this board for making it about that and not about everything else that I've heard for the last several months. So good luck to all them. Good luck to their tax increases, what they're doing. I can't wait for another year to get work with you guys next week. Okay? Have a good holiday, everybody.
Thank you. Spence.
Thank you. I wrote my comments down. Try to be quick. So the word impossible is a dirty word. It's just nasty. But this word is used too often when it comes to underserved and under-resourced, economically disadvantaged school districts like Pottstown and any other public school district that has a demographic similar to Pottstown, majority, minority. So congratulations to all of our school board members that were elected last week to serve another 4 years. And I'm assuming that you all put your hat in the ring again to serve and make a difference. And that's super great. And so what I'm asking today shouldn't come with the word impossible. Change is hard. It's awkward. It's clumsy. I know it so well. But even those who the community elected raised their hands and said, you know, I want change, we want change. And I'll use myself as an example, because keep in mind when we want change and we get to go beyond, you know, the frustration of it all, even just a modification in seats. After we all raise our hands and we want change, but then a modification in seats, like something, a small tiny change like that can get crazy. This young lady here, Elizabeth, J, almost knocked her out of her seat, and I'm big, she's very slim, because I felt she was sitting in my seat. And so it gets deep, like I want to change, but to see somebody sitting in what I feel is my seat caused this reaction in me, like, you know, it's like, what are you doing in my seat? And she's like, you know, easy, your seat's right here. And so something so simple like a seat can really make us go a little wacky, but we want change, right? So I lost my place. Anyway, it created a tailspin for me. But however, I do want change, and I like to see change. And as we go, this board, you all go into another 4 years, I like to see a radical shakeup, beginning with the hiring of Black teachers that reflects the majority minority of this school district. The families we serve, they need representation. It should not be impossible to do that. And I will continue to request it. I saw a presentation earlier this morning at Montgomery Community College. It was so awesome. It was just a wide lens of diversity. And the president of the Montgomery Community College is amazing. She did so many incredible things with diversity in mind, like widening the lens in spaces, in race, in curriculum, in everything, every aspect.
I hope you can see it. It's online. It's an amazing video. I think we can do the same. The way she reimagined community college, with a wide lens for diversity, I think we can reimagine public school system here in Pottstown. I also read this morning, either this morning or last night, sometimes I don't know the difference. But I read a school district in Bucks County is being sued for not having diversity. So they're being sued for not having a diversity program for students and staff. So I leave you all to go and celebrate, the day that the Native Americans were, the land was stolen and slaughtered, all that. Enjoy your feast. But when we come back, let's come back renewed, energetic, with change in mind. And thank you for allowing me to make my comments.
Thank you. Ms. Kanciani?
I don't know how to follow that.
That was powerful. I just have one item. Pottstown Schools Music Association is holding their first annual vendor event. It is this Saturday from 9 to 3. It's at the high school. There will be musical performances, food to buy, raffle baskets, a kids corner, and Santa. So please come out and support your kids.
Thank you. Florence?
Just a couple quick things. First, congrats again, Layla. You're amazing and a great role model for all of our kids. Secondly, I heard you about the music. I've been mentioning that many times, and I'm going to continue to bring that up. And especially, it's helpful to know that the community supports that as well. And lastly, since this is actually the day, today is Children's Grief Awareness Day. That was actually started by the Caring Place out in Pittsburgh, and I was actually lucky enough to go there and view it. I wish I could get that here, a place like that here. But in the meantime, I do have Traces of Love, and I just wanted to reiterate that we're in the process right now getting a group started at Franklin and at the middle school. So if anyone wants the support for the kids or even print material, I have loads of stuff that I give out. It's all free. Parents, teachers, whoever want it just have to let me know. So it's all there, just to be aware how grief affects our kids in ways that are not obvious. It doesn't affect them the way it affects adults. And a lot of times it's well after the loss. So it's just something to keep in mind.
Thank you. Mr. Armato, can you close us out, the board?
Yes, I will. And I think if things go right and Anthony and I are coordinated, we'll even see a couple pictures. But before he does that, to Mrs. Miller's point, the high school today did do a PBIS program, that's Positive Behavior Interventions Systems, and it involved what they call Trojan of the Quarter, which involved teachers nominating students on the basis of their academic performance and their school citizenship. So they nominate students, and then they are selected out of that pool, and they were recognized today. The students also do likewise and nominate and recognize members of the staff who have had a positive influence on the school environment. So at that meeting, there's the picture. Okay. At that meeting, as we talk about engagement, the students' parents were invited to a breakfast. So once again, we have relationship building with students, parents, and staff. It was a great program. Needless to say, two of our Trojan men were there. We actually have 3. So that was a great event. Also, we are in the process of working with the Pottstown chapter of the NAACP to bring books to our students. Without going into a long explanation right now, that they have received a donation which will allow them literally to provide us with thousands of books. Yes, I said thousands of books that are geared towards elementary students, first through fourth grade. I brought a sample of some of them that I will be happy to pass around for you to take a look, and you will see that those books address the diversity within our community. And the great part of this is that the students take those books and they're theirs to keep. We're talking about eventually thousands and thousands of books that will go in the hands of young people that they will keep for their own personal libraries. So I take that as a big win for our school district. Anthony is showing some pictures from some of our tours of our art departments. And to go along with what Mr. Slick said, yes, agree 100% that the both arts, music and graphic, have a positive effect on the academic, social, emotional well-being of our students. To that end, which I'll be able to announce in more detail, hopefully next month, we are lining up a collaboration with a donor that will provide us with a great deal of funds that will go directly to art teachers to purchase art supplies for their rooms. I'll have more about that when they're all final. I think I've about talked myself out.
Thank you very much. Mr. Remy?
I just want to say thank you to our students and staff doing a great job throughout the school year with a ton of small details that we'll never hear at this level, but are absolutely essential and critical to make school run every single day. Everything from crossing guards to cafeteria duty to calling mom and parent, guardian, whomever be the case, about situations to make sure that they don't become bigger situations. And I get to see a lot of that work every single day. And I just want to acknowledge the staff and the students who help in that regard. Because it seems to be the order of the day: engagement. Edgewood this week had one of their very best engagement opportunities where the parents basically outnumbered the kids, and they had over 100 participants in their community engagement event, or rather parent engagement event this week, and everybody was super happy. So I wanted you to know that we have many examples of that, and definitely have found a much better formula for making sure that parents are engaged in our classes. Finally, I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows it's that time of year again. PSSA scores and other achievement scores have dropped, and we're going to spend tomorrow looking at some of those some of that data as well. We should, but I had the honor, pleasure, privilege of talking to a reporter who wanted me to comment on COVID and why one of our elementary schools had higher scores and another one had lower scores. And I was able to tell that reporter, not our local reporter, Mr. Brandt, because he's well versed in this, but I was able to tell that reporter that's not where the story is. The story is in growth and not in the bottom line, but where that student started versus where they end up. And so I told the reporter that I didn't really know what she was referring to with regard to the achievement scores being, topsy-turvy between one elementary school and another, because I said we are instructionally focused in making sure that every single student is growing. And we know that we're not there yet. Not every student is growing, but we are making tremendous progress, and we see a lot more blue than we have in the past. So I'm grateful for that. Finally, I'll just say during this holiday break, please take time to hang out and have fun, but also be safe. There are too many tragedies going on in our community. We want to make sure that our families are not part of that. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will say, first, I am with the removal of the word impossible, and those are words I've actually utilized in a presentation that I will have for the board and workshop, along with another word that was used, or two words that were used, which is the big picture, that Laura used. So hopefully everyone is able to stay tuned for our January workshop, regardless of how for board change. That's going to be something that I'll present. As well, speaking about the books, I've been doing some research on books that help our community and our district grow and remain diversified and proud of the diversity that we have, but inclusive. Inclusive that we have a lot of differences, but we share more similarities. And to be proud of those, to focus on that and to continue to grow stronger, not that we stay stagnant in any means. So those books I've had in my cart, and I'm looking for a donor or donors. So there are a few things I've been working on. As far as the FAC, love the work that you do. So glad that you show up here in these meetings. When I was on a committee chair, I did have a standing place for FAC to present to committee. So hopefully we can kind of find a way that you're already doing that. I know Ms. Jackson certainly makes a point to be there. Just want to make sure that the public is aware of all of the FAC members, that they're able to reach out to you if they have any issues. Certainly they do the same thing with board members. And who they have familiarity with, and they can share information and dialogue and feedback, and so that's what's needed. I do like the volunteerism in the classrooms. That's one of my favorite things to do. I'm not on the board, as I've said many times, because I have one. I birthed one. I helped to raise many. I love children, and that's why I'm here. That said, we're here for everyone, right? It can't just be one child. It also can't be one staff member. And I always get a little leery about identifying one particular student or one particular staff member to highlight, because they're all outstanding, right? So that's always a concern for me. Certainly my daughter worked very hard. She did do enrollments and regular studies in her junior year. So this is not something that's just sprung up. She did both in her junior year, night classes with Montco Maine in junior year, and then in senior year, she did Montco dual because it was available to her. But I will not take away from her. She does things on her own. She has that job that we talk about our students in this district having, and there's multiple ways that children in this district have, and we just need to continue shining the light on all the students. We also have a mother-son event. I know it's been coined dance, which makes it a little bit lighter, and I like that. It's lighter, right? I didn't coin it a dance. This was an event, and it was designed because of trepidation with fifth graders going into the middle school. I wanted them to see the building, see how beautiful it is, and not have trepidation about going into the middle school, seeing other students from other school buildings that they will be immersed with, and parents sharing and either reconnecting or learning and meeting new people, new faces. So we do have a mother-son event because the mothers challenged me on that, and that is in the spring. We have to firm the date up because we try not to have that during a time when it would compete with any other organization. We certainly have a lot of advocacy drives during that time. Our buildings have their own events, and so we make it a point of not overstepping or causing any duplicity issues. So would love to have the FAC help out at that. That would be great. So that said, I would like to just echo the safety piece as well. I'll remind everyone as well, this month is as well a cancer awareness. And so I'm constantly, we all have a family member in one way or another that is touched by that. So I will continue to ask that everyone continue to keep each other, insights, and encourage one another to continue to be tested. You know, better to know than not to know. Something can be taken care of versus not knowing and it going further down the line and it can't be taken care of. So continue to keep each other uplifted in everything that we do. Thank you to the board members. I appreciate, this is also kind of important appreciation. So it's a very difficult time, right? We are elected, we are not paid, we are taken away from family, but this is what we want to do. This isn't a forced item. This is something that we desire to do because we are passionate about it. It's important. Our students, their education, their safety, the staff and the taxpayers, it's a heavy juggle. And oftentimes board members lose sleep because they want to do the right thing and they do whatever they can to try to facilitate and make that happen. And the executive team is there to help and to provide as much information and as much data and as much support as they possibly can so that we can make the best decision that we can make for our district. And so I'm thankful of our board and I'm thankful of our executive team who continue to give us that information. It's not always the answer that we want to give, but we have to make the best decisions and they give us the data and the information that we need to kind of vet things out. So does anyone have any comments? I will swing back to. Sorry, we're at board though, sorry. But you can be around afterwards. Okay, thank you so much. Imani, I don't want to miss you. Do you have anything that you'd like to add? Okay, so if anyone has any comments or would like to speak with the board, so I would ask that you remain. Otherwise, I would have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?